together for Cassandra Gallagher!
It's a brisk, nice evening in November in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I'm on vacation with my aunt and my uncle. When I moved to Portland, we started a new tradition where we meet in a different city every year, so I wouldn't have to keep going back to the Midwest. Thank you. And so each year, my aunt has us vote on the next city that we are interested in going to. And while my aunt and uncle are voting on the next big city that they want to show me, what they don't know is that they're also voting on my next slutcation destination. There's a lot of things that my aunt and uncle don't know about me. For instance, my aunt has no idea that she walked in on my first threesome. But that's a different story. So they also don't know that I'm queer. They don't know that I'm poly, which for me means that I have a beautiful primary partner who I love very much. And we have sex with others on the side, sometimes together, sometimes apart. And these are things that my aunt and uncle don't know about me because I hide it from them. And the reason I do that is because where I come from, my identities are not that commonly accepted. And even though I've had a lot of support from my aunt and uncle growing up and into my adulthood, these are things that I feared if they found out about me that I would compromise the respect and love that I receive from them. So we're in Santa Fe, and it's the last night of the trip, and we've had a really nice weekend spending time with each other. And we just had a nice dinner, and we go back to our hotel. And they're early birds, so they go on back to our hotel room to get some sleep. And me, being the night owl and always trying to soak up as much nightlife as possible, I head to the hotel bar. And I go in and I sit down and I get a glass of wine. And at this point, I'm minding my own. I'm really not looking for anything in particular. But again, this is my slutcation, so I'm open. And then I meet this guy, and he's older, attractive, and he engages me in pretty great conversation right away. So we're talking, and then he introduces me to his wife and his friends, this couple that they're with, and they tell me that it's their honeymoon weekend, that they're from Santa Fe, and that they got married in Santa Fe, and now they're doing this. So I'm excited for them, and I'm cheersing them, and we're having a good time. And he then says, well, we've got this really nice bottle of whiskey in the hotel room. Would you like to come have a shot with me to celebrate more? Okay. Now, my Scorpio spidey senses are tingling. And I'm a seasoned slut, so I know that it is rarely ever just a shot of whiskey. But I'm intrigued, and they're nice, so I say yes, let's go. So he takes me out of the hotel bar and into the hotel lobby, and it occurs to me, I'm like, oh, that's why you're at the hotel bar. We're staying in the same hotel. Cool. Convenient, possibly. And then we go into the courtyard, and I've been drinking, and it's dark, and so I can't even totally see where he's leading me. And we start to go up a staircase. And as we go up that staircase, I start to panic a little bit, because when we get to the point where there's nowhere left to go, I realize that we're not just staying in the same hotel room, we're staying in hotel rooms directly next to each other. Okay. So I am hesitant. Don't get me wrong, I'm hesitant, but I go into the room with him anyway, and he pours me that shot of whiskey, and we go back to talking. And the conversation immediately starts to get more intimate. He starts asking about Portland, and he's like, is it really as progressive as everybody says it is? And I said, yeah, it is. I call it home for a reason. For someone like me, it's a really safe space. And he was like, well, what does that mean, someone like you? And I'm like, well, I'm queer and I'm poly, so it's a good space for me. And that's when he got this mischievous smirk on his face, and he holds his hands out, and he says, wait right there. I have something I want to show you. Well, I take a big old gulp of whiskey and a deep breath because Lord knows what this man is going to his bathroom to retrieve and come back and show me. And he comes back with this box. And he lifts the lid up to what I personally would only consider a treasure trove of sex toys. So I'm giddy. But I am also keeping in mind that my aunt and uncle are sleeping soundly in the room next to me. And they won't be sleeping soundly for long. If I move forward with... So I look up at him all wide-eyed and just happy. And he just says, so my wife and I think you're really cute. And we were about to get into an orgy with that couple downstairs. And we were wondering if you'd like to join us. Well, now, of course I do, but but I know that if I do this, my aunt and uncle will definitely, they will be woken up and they will hear it. Because not only am I someone who likes to get myself into these situations, I am also somebody who likes to have really loud sex. And that's for me because sex is really cathartic, and when I do it, I like to just like go full force. And so I take a step back and I tell him I need to go think about this. So I go out on the balcony and I call my partner. Not for permission, but for reassurance. And I'm basically asking him to tell me that the crazy thing I'm about to do isn't crazy, which he does. And he tells me to just like jump in, like you love these experiences, so go for it. And I do. I walk into that room, and at this point, the wife and the other couple has joined, and we proceed into what I consider the most sensual, successful, sweet orgies that one could hope for. It was sweet because I was getting to know these people. They were telling me about their love story, how they met, and their wedding, and I was telling them about my partner and my beautiful life back home. And like raunchy sex was still happening. Like there's still like, like we're like, it's very sweet, but like there's like strap-ons flying around too, it's okay. But yeah, and like it was so sweet, there was even one moment where I'm like nuzzled up in between her breasts and she's stroking my hair and we're talking about guilty pleasures. And I told her that my biggest one is Taco Bell. So she jumps up, she's all excited, and she starts putting her clothes on. I'm like, whoa, where are you going? And she leaves the hotel to go and get me this Santa Fe equivalent of Taco Bell. I'm telling you guys, this woman left and got me tacos in the middle of an orgy. Doesn't get better than that. So yeah, we had a really nice evening, and I left saying sweet goodbyes and in pure ecstasy. But as soon as I left that room and went into my hotel room, that ecstasy disappeared. I remembered how much trouble I could potentially be in. And I went into the front room where there's this couch, and I just face planted on it, smelling of sex. And I couldn't have been laying there for more than 5 minutes when I hear my uncle's alarm go off. And he comes into the room, and in a voice more stern than I'd ever heard his, he says, "Good morning." And I'm like, as sweetly as I can, "Good morning." And he's like, "You didn't get a lot of sleep last night, did you?" No, I didn't. I said, "No, I didn't, but I'll be okay." And he said, "Well, is it okay?" Like, "Well, I don't know why it wouldn't be." And he says, "Well, it's kind of awkward, isn't it?" And I was like, "I don't know why it would have to be awkward." I know exactly why this is awkward. But I'm trying to get away with it, I think. And so he says, "Well, Cass, we could hear everything." Ooh, confirmed. Okay. So I just feel all kinds of like shame and fear and embarrassment wash over me, and then my aunt walks in. And she doesn't have any time for this. She's like, says it to me straight. She's like, "Get some sleep, take a shower, we'll text you where we are in a few hours, and you can come meet us there and we'll have a talk." Okay. So they leave, and I go into freak out mode, and I'm pacing and hyperventilating and crying, and I call my partner again, and I'm like, "I just did it. Like, I really, really did it. I ruined this beautiful relationship I have with my aunt and uncle, and how can I ever look at them again?" And he reassures me that there's no way that they will never not love me. And I am a grown woman, and I can make these decisions, and I just have to own it. And I also, in that moment, realized, too, that I just had a really awesome night. And, I went into something myself and feeling myself, and I came out feeling even better, and other than the obvious thing. And I just thought, there's no way I'm ever going to apologize for something like that again, for being me. Thank you. Yeah. So I go to breakfast, and I'm trying to prep myself, but I don't really know how you prepare yourself for a conversation with your aunt and uncle about the orgy you just had last night. I missed that lecture. So I try to go in with my head held high, but I'm still nervous. And when I find them at the breakfast table, I see that their demeanors have completely changed. And I sit down, and the weight's lifted a little, but I wait for my aunt to start. And she says, "You know, Cass, when we were growing up, we were the black sheep of the family. We were the ones, it took us forever to get married. We moved around all the time. We never had kids. We're the artists. And we realized that you are probably that next generation of maverick in this family. And we understand how hard that must be for you. And we want you to know that even though we don't always understand every decision you make, we trust that there is good reason for it. We trust you, and we will always be by your side." So I said, "Thanks, thank you. You don't know what that means to me." And that was the moment that I learned that my aunt and uncle definitely always have my back, but I should maybe avoid hotel bars on family vacations in the future.